Now in Hot Fuzz, Sergeant Angel, Simon Pegg, London's most by-the-book cop, has been kicked sideways to keep his perfect arrest record from embarrassing his superiors. In the perfect but dull village, Angel languishes, despite worship by his partner, played by Nick Frost, a bit of a village idiot who owes his position as constable to the fact that his dad is the police chief. But underneath the smiling surface, this postcard Hamlet is roiling with criminals, and only American action movie-style policing will blow the lid off of it. Director Edgar Wright surpasses his Shaun of the Dead with a comedy that's like a brilliant hybrid of Alec Guinness and John Woo.
27.
Have you ever seen Point Break?
No.
Amazing bit in Point Break where they jump over fences.
Is there no? 29.
Patrick Swayze's just robbed this bank. Keanu Reeves is chasing him through people's gardens. And he goes to shoot Swayze, but he can't because he loves him so much. And he's firing his gun up in the air. He's like, oh!
30.
Have you ever fired your gun up in the air and gone, ah?
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
30. Sorry, I just feel like I'm missing out sometimes. I want to do what you do.
You do what I do. What on earth do you think you're missing out on?
Gunfights, car chases, proper action.
Police work is not about proper action.
29. If you'd have paid attention to me in school, you'd understand that it's not all about gunfights and car chases. Fire up the roof.
That was brilliant.
Mort, it's nice to have some good news for a change, and this movie is my idea of good news. It's built like a tank. It's funny from beginning to end. It takes care of the heart department really well. You watch these two guys together. It's really like watching a great classic comedy team. The politics of the film, though, aren't not forward or buried. And they're sturdy and they're sharp and they're informed, and it's an amazingly funny tribute to a kind of movie I usually really loathe. So I really quite won over. What did you think of this one?
And that is the police action movie.
The police action movie, yes, the decadent police action movie, the Michael Bay movie, Bad Boys 2 in particular.
There's so much we can talk about in this film. Let's see how much we can get in.
Yeah.
We will be discussing Edgar Wright in our discussion.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
There's nothing more I can say. The last sequence of this film, which goes on for half an hour, is one of the great tour de force spoofs of all time, I think, of this genre film. But this film is never silly.
No.
This film always interests, always surprises, even though it's going along with what seems to be a formula. And as you say, Simon Pegg, who is the writer of both this film and Shaun of the Dead,
right.
And is the star.
And becomes a very intrepid hero. And you think back to like Jackie Chan almost, that kind of nice balance of like gravity and humor.
And he is very serious. As our producer Peter McGettigan said, what distinguishes these films is that they're serious about their comedy.
Right.
And he really becomes the part of the by-the-book policeman
in this perfect town where apparently nothing happens except the swans go loose and they have to round them up.
Right, and we must talk about his relationship with the village idiot, as you described,
Danny.
the great lump, Danny or Nick Frost.
Yeah.
In real life, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are the best of buddies. They have been since they were kids.
Yeah, and it certainly communicates. You see that on screen.
And Nick Frost has had nothing to do with drama. Pegg just dragged him into this project, actually Shaun of the Dead, and their friendship, which grows here. I mean, there is an education going on. The Simon Pegg character has to change. He can't be such a hard nose,
right?
And
his friend has to redeem himself because he's he's the kind of overgrown boy that does everything his father tells him. Right. The father's Jim Broadbent, very hilarious, and the capacity for menacing.
Let's just
the
talk
cast
about
is just
some
like
of the
beautiful all the way down.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
First of all, there's Jim Broadbent. Yeah. Everyone out there should know him. Yeah. But secondly, the arch villain under the mustache,
Timothy Dalton,
cutting up wonderfully is Timothy Dalton. Yeah. And who, my dear Richard, is Timothy Dalton?
Well, Dalton, he was one of the least loved James Bonds. And actually, when I did an interview with Wright and the gang, they were pointing out that everything that people love about Daniel Craig as the new Bond was really kind of pioneered by Dalton, who really tried to bring in a gritty, very Commando-esque atmosphere in his two James Bond films. But just all the way down, you see Edward Woodward, another old timer in there.
Great in Australian films and English, and a big TV show.
It's funny, and it really doesn't let up. I mean, it just goes from one clever idea to the next, and it just keeps building. It has this wonderful momentum.
We'll be continuing to talk about it. But look for Kate Blanchett as Janine and Peter Jackson as Santa Claus, who stabs Simon. There. Just hilarious jokes going on in the film itself. Yeah.